with your goals. One of the things we have found is that if you are not doing something that contributes to achieving your aim, then what you're doing probably detracts from achieving your aim. And one of the major reasons for failure in life is the inability to focus single-mindedly on one thing at a time. I'll talk about this over and over as we go through the course. As a matter of fact, everything in this course is aimed at giving you the targets, the pinpoint targets for you to focus on in each area of business development. What are the key things that you have to hone in on and concentrate on in order to be successful? The next thing is belief. You must absolutely believe yourself to be capable in this field. One of the things that we find is that in business, some people are unique and have remarkable talents and can do phenomenal things in a short period of time. But the great majority of business people, 80 or 90%, are of primarily average intelligence. They are not great geniuses. They don't have extraordinarily high IQs, but they do have a very strong belief in themselves and their ability to succeed. They don't believe themselves especially to be inferior to anybody else, and they don't believe that other people are especially more talented or more capable than they are. In my years of experience, I have sometimes heard about business organizations and heard about business people running these organizations and how phenomenally talented they must be. And then when I go to work to consult with these organizations, and I spend hours with these same people that you read about in the newspapers, I sit down and I find they're really quite ordinary people. They just happen to be focused or specialized along a particular line and happen to be doing things a little bit different than other people are doing. And we can think of all kinds of examples of that. John D. Rockefeller said that the two most important requirements for business success are patience and foresight, but especially patience. And we'll talk about this a few times. If you do not have patience, you can't be successful in business, because almost everything in business is timing. There's a too soon and there's a too late. And sometimes, as business people, we always want things too soon. We always want things to happen at least a year in advance of their scheduled time. And very often we push and we press to make things happen early, and it causes nothing but difficulties. And of course, the ability to delay gratification. We live in a society where everybody wants everything now. We live in a society where we've been raised on television, which means that there are 30, 60, and 90-minute solutions to all the great problems of life. And we have a tendency as adults, having grown up with 20 or 30 years of television, to always be looking for quick solutions. We see all our life that the most fundamental and complex problems of human existence are solved in those short TV segments, and the very most we're willing to bear is a miniseries. We have to realize that sometimes people problems, market problems, take a long time. I remember I was in a very, very tight fix in business. We had over-ordered. We had bought too much of a particular product. We had overextended our lines of credit. And the person that I was working for, we were talking about whether or not we had, if you like, ruined the possibilities of the company. I never forget him saying, "Brian, it's too early to tell." I said, "Well, we've been in business for 6 months." He said, 6 months is not enough in the marketplace. He said, "We have to wait. Let's give it another few months." Now, interestingly enough, as a young person, as an aggressive, impetuous person, another few months seemed like a lifetime. But as it happened, another few months was the difference between failure and tremendous success for that business. It just took a little bit longer for the business to get into the marketplace. One of the things that we always make a mistake with is we think when we introduce a new product, because we know it's a great product, everybody's going to buy it. Everybody's going to recognize the same thing we recognized. However, people change their opinions and their ideas toward products very, very slowly. Sometimes you have to be in the marketplace for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years before the product finally takes off. Home computers is a perfect example. IBM decided there was no future in the home computer market, and so they decided to stay out of it completely. But suddenly the market exploded, and everybody came to different conclusions. And finally, you'll find that one of the keys to success in business is what is called method. Working systematically, patiently, doing the right things right, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and then doing them as quickly as possible are the basic elements. And if you keep doing the right things in the right way, over time you must be successful. Over time, you put all the odds on your side. And believe me, every single thing we talk about in this course, I have either done wrong, and it's cost me a lot of money, or I've worked with corporations who have done them wrong, and many of those corporations have gone bankrupt as a result and lost everything. And when I used to hear some of these things, I'd say, well, I don't particularly like that. That's not convenient. That doesn't fit with my schedule. So I would ignore that point. I would say, well, I'll ignore that point, and the rule won't apply to me just this once. Now, when you end up selling your house and selling your car in order to pay your bills because the market didn't allow you to get away with it even once, then you learn the lesson. Next time you say, wait a minute. So finally, the final analysis, it's not what you do, but who you